Hello again. We're back to continue talking about React and Redux. And in our previous video, we kind of set up a rough shopping cart here, right? Still needs some work, but I left you with a few challenges, and one of them was to show the price for each item in the shopping cart, and then another one was to show the quantity and not to have duplicate items in the shopping cart. Okay, so here you can see I have two named FinTone and two named lot string, right? So it should really be lot string like 52.95 times 2, or a quantity of 2, right? And then maybe we can also show the total cost for that item, right? Okay, and later we can add like a remove from cart button or something like that. So how are we going to do that? The first problem that we have to solve is kind of behind the scenes, but really the index is not correct. We got to use the ID for each item, right? So let's fix that. Currently, our items here, if we look at them, let me actually refresh this, right? So this will go back to the 3 items that I have here: lot string, FinTone, and rank. That's item 1, 2, and 3 by index, but the ID is 1, and this is number 2, and that's number 3. So it should be Zulab, lot string, and FinTone, right? Let's go get our reducer and confirm that, right? So if I look in the reducer here, the shopping cart reducer, you can see I have item 1, 2, and 3 in my cart. But really what I want to do is I want those to map to Zulab, lot string, and FinTone, because those are the IDs of those items. So let's go now to the shopping cart component, which is down here, uppercase shopping cart, right? Lowercase shopping cart is the reducer, right? Actually, that one says reducer on the end too. So here we are, and right here we're getting each shopping cart item by its index, right? But what I want to do is I want to find the items by their ID, right? So here I have an array of items in my cart. It's an array of the IDs. And let's do this. Let's map that, right? Let's do items by ID, right? I don't know. I need a name for some variable, right? So this array, I'm going to get the array of ID or indexes, right? Or these are actually the IDs, right? I want to get the IDs, and then I want to pull out the items that I want here. So let's try this. Let's do data.filter, right? And we'll only include that item if its ID is in this array, okay? So let's get our item, and then we'll return let's say cart dot includes, and we'll pass in let's see here, let's say includes item.id. Okay, so if that includes item ID, then this should have an array of just the ones where the ID matches. Okay, and then let's map these items to the items that we're going to print or display, right? So I got to change this up a little bit, because the item now is not going to just be the index, it's going to be the object. So here let's do item.id, and over here I can do item.name, right? So that looks correct. Zulab is ID number 1, lot string is ID number 2, and FinTone is ID number 3. And if I look at the product shopping, or the shopping cart reducer again over here, you'll see that the 3 IDs I have here are 1, 2, and 3, right? And so that should map that should map correctly to ID number 1, which is Zulab, right? First one. ID number 2 is lot string, and ID number 3, right? That's 2, and then number 3 is Fintone, right? So we know that those are correct. This is just mocked up like random data, so the names are kind of goofy. Anyway, so now we're pretty good. So we got this sorted up. Now we have a couple more things to do, right? So first of all, let's tackle an easy one. So an easy one is to show the price. So I'm going to go back to my shopping cart component, and over here I'm showing a paragraph for each item. But in React fashion, anytime we have something that's even mildly complicated that is a component, we should just turn it into its own separate component. So we should turn this into maybe a shopping cart item component, and then we can pass props into it and have it display. So I'm in the shopping cart component here, but I'm going to make a new file and call it shopping cart item. .js. Let me see, does that look correct? Yeah, shopping cart item. Okay, sorry, the text is so small it's hard to read sometimes. Right, so we got shopping cart item, and then let's make this a function, and let's see here, let's call it shopping cart item, and this is going to return a probably, it's best maybe to have a div here, with something in it, and then we better make sure we remember to export this as the default, right? So let's do default shopping cart item. There we go, right? So now we're in a pretty good space here, right? It kind of imported shopping cart there for me, but I don't want that. Okay, so now let's use our shopping cart item. Actually, we need to display it first. So we got a div. Maybe, well, let's just make that a paragraph, right? And then I'll have a little bit of margin and padding at the top. And then in the row here, let's put the name. Wait, I misspelled that, span. It starts with an S, right? Okay. And let's get rid of this one. So I've got span here, and this is going to take in props, right? But maybe we should have the name here, right? And maybe any other properties that we need, right? So let's put in the price also, right? So put name and price there. We haven't actually used the price yet, but we're going to want that. So let's display the name here, and then we can put another span here and put the price in here, right? And the prices I put into our JSON file, they're actually strings and they have the $sign. So if we want to do math with them, we'll have to shave the $sign off, I did that because it made it easier at the beginning, but at the end it actually causes us some extra work, a little bit of a headache, but don't worry about it. It's just another challenge, right? So I've got name and I've got price. So let's go back to our shopping cart and import our shopping cart item. So we've got shopping cart, import shopping cart item from / shopping cart item, okay? And then over here, we're going to import the shopping cart item. And then remember, we've got, we can make an ID, and then we can use the name and the price here. I'm just going to change this for shopping cart item. We'll leave the key the way that it is, and this will be a self-closing, tag, right? So wait, let me undo that. Hold on. I kind of screwed that up, right? So we want to get rid of this thing, and then I want this to be name equals, right? So that's a little hard to read. Let me kind of close this up, right, so we can see the whole thing. So I've got shopping cart item here. I've given it a key, and then it has a name, and then we also want to include the price. So let's include price here, right? And we can say, item.price, right? And that's getting pretty long, so you could format that with some line returns. We could put some line returns after the property names like this. And also as a shortcut here, since name and price are properties, they're the same property names that we have here after item, we can actually shorten all this to just the curly brackets and then say dot dot slash or dot dot item or dot 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 item, right, like this, right? So now all of the properties in item will be included as props in shopping cart. So that's kind of a good shortcut right there, okay? So let's take a look here. Oh, so that's not looking too bad, right? We've got the name and we've got the price here, right? Maybe we need a space between the two of these two. Maybe I'll put a space here, right? And then I'll get a space right there. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so that we did a lot of work there. Let's end the video here. We've solved a piece of the problem, and we'll add the quantity. We'll solve the quantity problem in the next video, okay? So thanks for watching. I hope that that's helpful to you, and I hope you're making good progress. And you know, you can try the quantity thing on your own as a challenge too. So this would say, you know, we should be able to add, if I add a second item of number 1 here, rather than adding it to the list here, it will add it, you know, it'll add one quantity on ZooLab. Oh, actually, I realized our add to cart button is not quite correct. When I click on this, it should be adding an item, but it's not working. Well, let's solve that in the next video, okay? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.